Hola chicos y chicas. In this screencast, we will look at the irregular forms of the preterito, and there are many, so take good notes and get ready to get blasted with irregular forms. So let's quickly review the regular preterite, the past tense, completed actions in the past. So verbos AR, the endings are aste, o, amos, astes, aron. And ER and IR verbs are the same, and those are iste, yo, imos, istes, ieron. And remember that the yo and the LA usted forms carry accents, and those are very important so they're not confused with other tenses. So an example, anoche Javier y Sonia caminaron por el centro. Sonia comió un helado de vainilla y Javier bebió un batido. So notice which are those verbs. At any time, pause the screencast and take some good notes, write down examples, write an example of your own to apply this knowledge. The next set of preterito verbs we're going to look at are verbs we call cargar sar. And these are just AR verbs that end in cargar or sar. And the thing about them is that they just simply have a spelling change in the yo form, only the yo form. So and that is to maintain a certain sound. So for example, sacar is yo saqué with a QU instead of a C, and that's to maintain the hard K sound. Jugar, or Gar, gar verbs, have a U in them, and so that they don't sound like jugué. And then empezar, or verbs that end in sar, like almorzar or comenzar, the yo form ends in a CE. And all of these still have their acentos, and all the other forms are regular. So, an example on the bottom, yo busqué un vestido nuevo para el baile. I looked for a new dress for the dance. Pagué $30, pero mis amigos pagaron cerca de 100. So I paid $30. So notice those yo forms are irregular. Some other irregulars, common ones, you may recognize these, dar, ver, and ir, which is also the same as ser. And these are all short little verbs. They don't carry accents. Dar, to give, diste, dio, dimos, distes, dieron, and ver is almost the same. So dar and ver act as the same in the preterite. And then ir and ser are the same. So if you said yo fui, that could mean I went. It could also mean I was. So depending on the context, you know what it means. No accents on these. And an example, nuestro abuelo nos dio dinero, entonces fuimos al zoológico. My grandfather gave us money, so we went to the zoo. Mi hermano vio todos los pájaros. My brother saw birds, pero mi primo y yo vimos los monos. But my cousin and I saw the monkeys. So again, take note of these. And moving on to the next one. These are some other irregulars, and these are really funky. Sometimes I like to call them super irregulares, and there's a little song that's on the web page to help memorize some of these. But basically, these verbs, we can group them into three different groups. The ones that have a U, so andar, which means to walk or to go, changes to anduve in the yo form. And then as you see, these are all the endings, the terminaciones that you put with all of these roots. So the U, we have estuve, pude, puse, supe, tuve, and make sure you check out, double check what all of those mean if you don't recognize them. And then the grupo I, these are all stems that have an I in them. Quise, I wanted or I tried. Vine, I came. Hice, I did or I made. And the only exception here is that the hacer in the LA usted form is hizo, because if we had it just a CO, it'd be ico, and we want that sound. And then this group, the grupo J, is Just a tiny bit different in the ustedes, ellos, ellas form. So dije, I said, traje, I brought, produje, I produced. So there are some other verbs that are similar to these. These are kind of, can sometimes be roots, and so other similar verbs will carry this same irregular pattern. And again, all of these lack an accent, no accent marks on these. Ayer Juan vino a mi casa. Juan came to my house, trajo su mochila y sus bocadillos. He brought his backpack and some snacks. Hicimos la tarea, pero no pudimos terminar. We did homework, but we couldn't finish. Finalmente a las 9 él tuvo que ir. He had to go. So these are all really different. We'll focus on the most important ones in class, especially tener, hacer, decir, or just the most common. So always refer to your notes page with all of these. And then the last ones that we're going to cover is basically there are no boot verbs in the preterite in the past tense. So just a reminder that boot verbs don't act the same in the preterite. You don't have to change the E to IE, or like jugar, the U changes to UE. Those are just act like regular verbs in the preterite. However, we do have something we call verbos de sandalia, which means the only changes to the stem that happen are in the usted, el, ella, and ellos, ellas, ustedes forms, these third person forms. So verbos de bota that end in IR have a spelling change. I'm just going to focus on a couple of the main ones right here, and then your little reference sheet has others. So dormir, there's a spelling change in the third person. The O changes to a U, not a UE like the present tense, but an OU. So Pablo duerme 9 horas generalmente. He usually sleeps 9 hours, pero anoche durmió 5. So durmió is just a little tiny change to the stem. And same with the ellos form. Sus hermanos durmieron 4. So dormir, sentir, pedir, these are some other verbs that act this way. Leer is another one that has a sandalia change in the third person. And what happens is that some of these verbs that have two vowels, if we were to add an I in there for the el form, leyo, it's just too many vowels. So what we do is we change the I to a Y, and it becomes leyeron or leyo, and that keeps just a better sound. So that's basically how the verbos de sandalia work. Another one similar to leer would be oír, to listen or to hear, and construir, to build. So there are some other examples on your reference sheet. So that's a little overview of all those irregulars. Good luck applying them, and we'll practice some of the most important ones in class. And for now, keep it as a reference. There's a little bit of why for each of those, how they work. Adios.